All right, welcome to the learning target number 5. Okay, now learning target number 5 we technically already did, so I guess that's one positive. Okay, I can apply the concept of unit rate to determine an unknown. Okay, so go ahead and flip in your notes to page number, it's right here, page number 10. Okay, page 10. All right, now what the concept of unit rate, this is when we use, like, if you think back to like the review sheet 13, I think we were doing tutoring, so Mr. Edwards, he charged, like, I don't even know, $35 for 5 hours. We want to know, okay, how many in 7 hours? Well, you can't. Now, you guys know now, you've learned that you can just do this and then cross multiply and then divide. You've learned that now. But understand that on the test, I could still ask you to use unit rate to find the unknown. So you would have to do this. Just like we did on the review sheet 13, we just got to figure, okay, I got to figure out how much per hour, and then do it there. So if I'm dividing by 5 here, dividing by 5 there, that means he charges $7 an hour. Okay, then we can figure out 7 hours. Okay, so that's all this learning target is. It's just you're trying to find that unknown. Whoops. You're trying to find that unknown, but you have to use this method, the unit rate method. Okay, so we're taking a ratio, we're converting it to the unit rate, and then figuring out an unknown. And that unknown's always we're always going to go per whatever's given. Okay, so just understood, if I say use the unit rate to find the unknown, you have to do this method. It will be wrong otherwise. Okay, if I said use unit rate and you didn't do this step, you just cross multiplied and then divided by 5 and got 49, I'm going to count it wrong. Okay, so just understand you are still responsible to know this, even though you know how to cross multiply and divide. So let's go through these. In a survey, 4 out of every 5 Geez, I can't even speak anymore. 4 out of every 5 dentists recommend a certain brand of dental floss. Okay, so that means 4 of them, and I'm just going to put an R, like 4 recommend, out of 5 total. Okay, so I'm going to do it both ways. I'm going to do with the unit rate and without it, okay? So there's my ratio, 4 out of every 5 recommend a certain brand of dental floss. If there were 1,000 dentists in the survey, how many would have recommended? So we're trying to figure out this because we don't know how many were recommended, but we do know, okay, we're talking about a sample size of 1,000 dentists. So I guess I got to make that total because we want to keep our labels the same. But you could have made it dentists too, it doesn't matter. Okay, then we can just cross multiply and divide. 4 times 1,000 is 4,000. 4,000 divided by 5 gives us 800. So that would mean 800 of them would recommend out of 1,000. Okay, now that's fine, but that's truly not learning target 6. That's finding a part or finding a whole, or identifying an unknown, like we are saying, but not using unit rate. So now let's use unit rate. 4 recommend out of 5 dentists. Okay. Now we're going to go, okay, put 1,000 here. Okay. And what we're trying to do is we're going to say, okay, well, how many recommended per 1 dentist? Okay. So we go, okay, 1 dentist is there. What am I doing to go from 5 to 1? Dividing by 5. Okay. What do I got to do to 4? Well, I got to do 4 divided by 5. Whoops. 4 divided by 5. And that is 0.8. So 0.8 of them recommended. I know that doesn't make any sense because you can't have a partial human being, but that's not the point. It's the process, understanding that you're finding a unit rate. Okay, now we're doing times 1,000 times 1,000. Without getting out my calculator, I know that 0.8 times 1,000, anytime I'm multiplying by a 1 followed by zeros, I know that I can just count up the number of zeros, and then I can just move the decimal that many times. So 0.8, I need to move the decimal 1, 2, 3, and in those spots, I got to add 2 zeros. So 800. If I said this question right here was learning target number 5, I can apply the concept of unit rate to determine an unknown. You have to do this method, okay? You can check it with this method if you'd like, but you have to do that method, okay? Our recipe for punch uses 12 fluid ounces of fruit juice for every 18 ounces of seltzer or something, I don't know. Okay, so here we go. I got 12, I'm just going to say FG. Yep, that's a G. That's a J where we come from. That's 12 fruit juices for 18 ounces of seltzer. Okay, so I don't want you guys, sometimes I got both, they're like putting ounces on both. Put it to where they're both different. Make sure both labels are different, okay? Now, Zoe made the recipe using 60 fluid ounces of fruit juice. So she's saying that this is 60. Okay, well, if we're using cross products or just the equivalent ratio way, I know that this would be times 5 and this times 5. Okay? Makes perfect sense. And then figure out what the answer is. So if we're doing that, 18 times 5 gives us 90. We know that they must have used 80 or 90 ounces of this seltzer stuff. Okay, but now let's apply the concept of unit rate. Now the first thing we got to do here, let me show you the first big mistake here. Okay, this is the first mistake that we got to be able to, you still start the same way. This is the first mistake that you guys will make. Pay attention. So I'm going to put S for seltzer. Okay, right away, I always start here. I draw my 3 ratio bars. And I say, okay, this is going to be 1 of something. I don't know what that is yet, but I got to figure it out. And then I got to figure out, what is it giving me? What information is it giving me? Is it giving me the amount of actual fruit juice that was used or the actual amount of seltzer used? And in this case, it's the actual amount of fruit juice. So that means 60 is up here. Well, you always got to find your unit rate to this. You always got to find your unit rate of whatever's given. So in this case, the fruit juice. So my point is, as weird as this seems, this is the problem with this, is you can't, when you do this right here, you can't, you can't find unit rate. Your 1's got to be on the bottom. There's no point in finding 1 there and then saying, okay, now I'll divide by 18, and then you're going to get 12 divided by 18 is whatever, some long decimal. Then you're back to square 1. Okay? Let me show you what I'm saying. 12 divided by 18 is 0.6 repeating. Now you got 0.6 repeating. Now, who can tell me what 0.6 repeating, what are we multiplying 0.6 repeating times to get 60? You can't. Okay? So, whatever you figure out whatever they're giving you, whatever other piece of information they're giving you, that's got to be in the second term. Okay? So it's got to look like this. 60 FJ fruit juice. This would be 1 fruit juice per fruit juice, right? And then this is going to be my actual ratio. 12 fruit juice, 18 S. Now we can build. And the reason we do this, look guys, it's so easy. I can tell what I'm doing now. Okay? That's the whole point of this. That you put your 1 wherever the information is that was given. Okay? I'm dividing by 12 there. Okay? So I'm going to do 18 divided by 12. It's 1.5. Okay? Then I'm going to do 1.5 times 60. That's going to give me 90, which is what we said the answer was from the beginning. Okay? On an airplane, the ratio of first class seats to coach seats is 1 to 12. So we got 1 first class to 12 coach. There are 180 coach seats on the plane. How many first class seats are there? So there are 180 coach seats. Now, this question really isn't learning target even. It shouldn't even really be in this learning target because look what they gave us. Didn't they give us the unit rate? Now I got it written wrong. I should have it written like this. 12 coach seats per 1 first class. Now we put 180 there. Okay, that's the way we should write it, but this isn't using unit rate. This one really shouldn't even be on there. Okay, we cross multiply, we divide. 180 divided by 12 is 15. Okay, 1 is 15. All right, let's do another. If we have any more. I think there are 2 more here. Okay. in a trail mix, there are 2 ounces of raisins for every 6 ounces of nuts. So that's my ratio, 2 raisins per 6 nuts. Now, you don't have to, I mean, you have to know, I guess you should know that I'm talking about ounces, but that's not really the point of ratios. Okay, it will be later, but I mean, for right now, we can just give us something to tell it, to make sure you just know what it's talking about. Lita bought a pack of trail mix that contained 15 ounces of nuts. So that means they're giving us the actual amount of nuts. Okay, so if we're going to use unit rate here, sure, we could set it up just like this, and then cross multiply and divide. We could do that, but if it's learning target number 5, we have to find the unit rate. So we got to do this. Okay, and 1 has to go there, 1 whatever. So what information was given? Whatever information they give you has to go in the second term. Okay, so they are saying 15 nuts has to go there. So this is going to mean per nut. And this is going to be whatever my fake ratio is, which is going to be 6 nuts. And the ratio is 2 raisins to 6 nuts. What am I doing to go from 6 to 1? Divide by 6. Divide by 6. It's 0.3 repeating. Okay. What am I doing to go from 1 to 15? Times 15 times 15. It's going to be a little bit tricky. You can't really type in 0.3 repeating in your calculator. My advice, just do a bunch of 3s. As many as your calculator will let you. I'd say that's good. See, it dinged at me. I guess that's too many. Times 15, and that's going to give me 5. Okay? And that's where it comes from. That's using unit rate to solve, or to find an unknown. This is just finding an unknown. This is applying our knowledge of unit rates. Okay? When Chris practices piano, he plays 5 minutes of scales for every 20 minutes of songs. So he's got 5 minutes of scales for every 20 minutes. I don't want to use minutes because they'd both be minutes of songs. So I'm just going to put scales and songs. Okay. Yesterday, Chris played for 1 hour. Okay. So he played for 1 hour. How many minutes did Chris play scales? So this, we got to think outside the box here. So he plays for 5 minutes of, Chris played songs for an hour. So he played songs for, we got to do a little conversion here, and we got to figure out, okay, that means he did 60 minutes of songs, because 1 hour is 60 minutes. Okay, still, songs is in the bottom. What am I doing to go from 20 to 60? I'm multiplying by 3. Multiply this by 3. That's going to be 15 minutes of scales. So don't worry about the unit rate on this one. Let's just assume I was asking you to find the unknown. But if you were being asked, actually, you know what? Let me just do it real quick. It'd be 5 scales over 20 songs. We want to figure out, okay, if he were just playing 1 song for 1 minute, how many scales would that be? And then we can go ahead and say, well, what about 60 minutes of songs? I know that going from there to there, I'm dividing by 20. Dividing by 20. We can do 5 divided by 20 in calculator. That's 0.25. So it really doesn't make much sense. 0.25 of a minute for scales. Then we know we're multiplying by 60, so I got to multiply 0.25 times 60. 15. Okay? Which is what we said the answer was. Okay? You could have also, by the way, cross-multiplied and divided here. Another way to handle it. Okay? That's it for Learning Target number 5 video. See you guys.